Hello, it's Benito here, the plant-based gorilla, here to show you how to make some delicious collard greens with no ham hock, no fatback, no salt pork, no bacon, just delicious whole plants. So let's get into it. Here I have some dried mustard, some MSG, some hickory liquid smoke, some smoked paprika, some apple cider vinegar, 1 lemon, half an onion, some El Pato hot tomato sauce, 2 cloves of garlic, some nutmeg, 1 stalk of celery, and 1 pound of frozen chopped collard greens. So I'm just going to water saute the onions and celery with a little salt, and I like to grate in the garlic, which I'm going to do in a second. I feel like when you're not using oil, grating the garlic in or using a garlic press or smashing it into very fine particles just helps you to permeate the garlic flavor throughout the dish, because you don't have the oil that you can kind of infuse with to carry it throughout. You just have to have the patience to peel the garlic, which sometimes can be a little tedious, but once you get the practice, then I feel like it's worth it. Just make sure that you get the garlic off the back of the grater. You don't want to let that go to waste. And just stir that in for 30 seconds to a minute or so. I mean, you're going to simmer this for like a good 15 to 20 minutes, so it's all going to cook. The onions are pretty much already softened at this point. And I'm just going to try and toast the mustard and the paprika at this point. The amounts I'll put in the description. And this is just, you're going to have to do a little bit of brinksmanship here. Try kind of, because you don't have the oil to properly bloom the spices, you're just going to kind of have to cook them until they start to stick to the pan, and then you use some water to prevent them from burning. And I don't really know, you could just put them in with the water. I don't know how necessary this is, but it's just a carryover from how I've always cooked when using oil. Just always have added the spices in then, just to activate their flavor with the heat as much as possible. But maybe this isn't worth the risk of burning them. And here I'm going to add the collard greens. You could also use kale, mustard greens, turnip greens, and even green beans would be a great substitute here. Just same recipe, just the frozen cut green beans, not the French style ones. I prefer the frozen greens to the fresh ones, just because you have to start with so much to get this amount. It's already kind of condensed for you and the amount of time that it takes. So here I'm adding the salsa, which is a great little can because it's like a perfect size for a lot of different things, and you usually get them for like 50 or 60 cents. It has about 900 milligrams of sodium in it, so if you're using a sodium-free tomato sauce, you might have to add a little bit more salt than you see me putting in. But you're gonna cook that for about 15 to 20 minutes until the liquid evaporates, and it's gonna look something like this. And I mean, at this point, you're pretty much all the way there. You're just gonna add your lemon juice, your liquid smoke, and your apple cider vinegar. And I like adding the liquid smoke later rather than sooner, because I feel like when you add it earlier, some of the smokiness just like evaporates into the ether, because it's pretty volatile aroma going on there. And I think I start with a teaspoon here of apple cider vinegar, and the amount is going to depend on how much juice you got out of your lemon. And here, the not so secret ingredient is some grated nutmeg, which I usually add to all of my greens, no matter what the recipe, just because I feel like it kind of wakes them up. The same thing with pepper, it just kind of adds like some warming top notes to it. And I mean, that's about it. I'm gonna come in and take a taste after stirring it all in, and if I recall correctly, I determined that I needed a little bit more salt and some more acid, so I added maybe a 1/4 teaspoon more of salt, another teaspoon of vinegar, and that's about it. Just kind of cook that down for another minute or so until the liquid's evaporated, and you've got yourself some delicious collard greens that are very comforting and so good for you that you could just eat these, and they're good enough you can just eat them like in a bowl. Like I'm serving here with cashew mac and cheese and black eyed peas, and I will show you how to make both of those. Mac and cheese I'm probably going to show you coming up pretty soon, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So subscribe, like, share, comment below, and most of all, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.